The members show opens on the 23rd and it closes on May 6th. I think I got that date right, with the annual meeting of the members where they vote on the board. So opening party and closing party, and it's a great show. Your work does have to be 24 inches and under. That includes the frame size. Last thing, we are having a really cool benefit here on June 6th. It's the Egg and the Obelisk. We've partnered with Lakeview Cemetery. It's a scavenger hunt. We have 71 artists who are making art out of real ostrich eggs. It's going to be very cool. So if you want to participate in that, please ask me about ticket prices. It is up on our website. It is $200 a ticket, but you are getting a piece of original artwork for your $200. And I think the artwork is going to be valued at much higher than $200, really. People are doing great stuff. So if you want to participate, you come here on June 11th, you pick up a clue, you go to Lakeview Cemetery, you solve your clue, you come back here, and then you can choose from one of the artist eggs. So it's important to solve your clue as fast as you can. Okay. So I think that's all. Anything, I haven't left anything out. Yeah, so please, I'd like to introduce Megan Elves. I think you all know her, our marketing and program manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. So hi, everyone. I am Megan Elves. I am the marketing and program manager here at the Artist Archives. Thank you all for coming here. As you can see, it is a full house, which is great because it means that the information we're presenting is something we really want to know about. So real quick, I know you're not here for it. Oh yeah, sneak on in. We're all friends now. I'm going to do a brief introduction for Arabella. I could go on and on and on, but I know we want to get to Arabella herself, so we're going to do that. So Arabella Proffer is an artist, an author, and co-founder of the indie label Elephant Stone Records. Her work combines interest in portraiture, visionary art, the history of medicine, and biomorphic abstraction. Born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Arabella attended the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, before receiving her BFA from the California Institute of Arts. Her work is in over 60 private collections, and she has exhibited her art throughout the world, including North America, Europe, the Middle East, and even Australia. It's literally been everywhere. Arabella has also authored several art books, including the National Portrait Gallery of Kessa, Girls with a U, and my personal favorite, The Restrooms of Cleveland. Oh, it's out of print though. Oh, one day.
$200 on eBay.
$200 on eBay if you're really into it. I might. So Arabella was also awarded an Ohio Arts Council grant in 2016, an Akron Soul Train Fellowship in 2019, a Rauschenberg Foundation Award, and a Satellite Award from the Andy Warhol Foundation and Spaces in 2020. So Arabella is also one of our own. She is an archived artist, and she became an archived artist in a collection in 2019. And just last year, she exhibited work which chronicled her journey with terminal cancer in the Artist Archives exhibition, Without Limits, Art, Chronic Illness, and Disability. So it is truly an honor to welcome Arabella. All of this, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Well, thank you to the Artist Archives for having me. Let's see. How many of you are just kind of NFT curious? You might make one, you might not. You just want to know more. Okay, so most of us. All right. Has anyone been told your work should be an NFT? Okay. And how many have you, has someone ever told you just don't make one? They're bad. And did that person sound like they were parroting an article they read on Facebook? Or maybe they didn't actually read it, they just read the headline. That's a lot of them too. So I am actually not an expert. I just went full hog into this world of Web3. And we'll get to that in a moment. But, you know, don't quit your day job. A lot of artists have actually quit their day job to do this full time. I don't recommend doing that. And, you know, this space is going to evolve a lot. It's going to change in 6 months. It's going to be different in a year. I mean, right now we're kind of like before Netscape, and like before the 56K modem, like that's kind of where we are in the like scheme of things. So, I mean, yeah, who would have thought social media would be what it is now when we were, buying stuff off Amazon in 1997, because I sure didn't. So I went from not knowing a thing about NFTs to 5 months later having my art on the biggest billboard in Times Square. So Web3 has actually given me a way to circumvent the traditional art world, and that's kind of why everyone's so excited about it. It's about decentralization, and it's mostly about royalties. So I had a very famous animator from Disney buy a piece of my work. He passed away. It went to auction for a lot, and I got none of that. And that sucks. So this new art world in Web3 is all about royalties. And it's all about like a certificate of authenticity, provenance. So it'll show who the owners were, but every time you sell that NFT, you get a percentage. You can get 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever you want. You can set it. And that will be in perpetuity. So let's go to Web3. Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah. So this is Web3. It encompasses quite a few things. So DeFi is decentralized finance. DAOs are decentralized autonomous organizations. Don't have time to go into that, but basically I see that's how journalism is going to be in the future, and nonprofits. What?
Yeah. Can you guys still see like that? Is that okay? Yeah.
No.
Okay. Thank you, team. We wanted to see your face too.
So we have gaming, virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain, crypto. I would also put artificial intelligence in there. And we're not going to talk about a lot of these things just because we don't have time. We're going to focus more on like the art aspect of NFTs. But I do need to give you a little background. So we're in that stage of the internet where identity, money, and social layers are all part of it. And a lot of people think you have to spend a lot of money, and that is not true. And I will tell you how. Next slide. So decentralization, this is kind of a really bad illustration of it. It was the best one I could find. It's really about having no core authority dictate the truth. It's also participant access, open access, and history of transactions. And that's where it shows who owned the NFT before you and shows, it's all just a living ledger, basically. Let's see, and let's go to the next one. So this is the third iteration of the internet we're in. First, we had read only. Then we had write, which was when blogs came around and social media. And now we're in ownership. Because ownership, royalties, and decentralization, that is what it's all about. Next slide, please. And then people are like, but it's just a JPEG. It's just a piece of digital. Like, how is that even worth anything? How can I even sell that? Well, can I borrow your phone?
No.
Please. Okay, I'm going to go into Megan's phone and I'm going to delete every one of her photos from her camera roll. But they're just representations of time past in a digital memory that will be no more. You lived it. But you lived it. Why do you care so much? What's the big deal?
You're up my dog.
Okay. So, worth of a digital asset is up to everyone. I mean, why is a Mickey Mantle baseball card worth what it is? It's watch any episode of Antiques Roadshow. What people thought was worth something isn't, and vice versa. So it's down to, I would say, for the art part of it, reputation. Has that artist been around for a while, or are they new? Because a lot of them are new. A lot of the people in the space have never done art before, or they thought they were going to get in on some gold rush and they could just draw a stick figure and that would be it. And that's not how it is. People want to know that you have actually done something in the real world, maybe, or that you're showing in exhibitions, and just in general, like, you know, how it would be if you were selling a print. Continue the next slide. So what is an NFT exactly? Well, you've all probably heard non-fungible token, but what is that exactly? It just means that it cannot be changed, it cannot be corrupted, it cannot be deleted, it cannot be modified. Once that transaction's made and once that object's made, that's it. But it's not just art. It can be a music file, it could be a video file, PDFs. In fact, the restrooms of Cleveland is an NFT. So if you do want to buy it for only $20, it is an NFT out there. And not pay $200 on eBay. But these are other things that an NFT could also be. And actually house deeds, they are experimenting with in California and in Florida right now. But it's great for concert tickets, plane tickets, passports, and, you know, books, as I said. So it's not just an image. It can be any file. So this is what I tell everyone. It is not the token itself, which we'll call like the NFT or the artwork. It is an agreement about the token. So it's, you're buying it for this much. You're buying just the one, or maybe you're buying multiple editions, and it's recorded on the blockchain. And the blockchain is basically just a ledger. It's a digital ledger like the way your bank account is, but it's more permanent, and it's probably the main thing that's going to be taking over technology. So I don't have time to go into blockchain a lot, but I would recommend researching blockchain a little more before you get into all this. So again, the NFT, the data is recorded. It can't be modified, corrupted, deleted. It's there for the world to see. You can see who owned it, what they bought it for, how many times it was traded. And there's a site called Etherscan. And by the way, if you ever see a .io, that means it's a Web3 address. Also .xyz is a very popular web address. But you can see on Etherscan, like, oh, this sold for that, and this, you know, like you can kind of price your own work based on similar work and see what the history was. But also you cannot lie about having an asset because people can check and see. So you can't be like, yo, bro, I got this really sweet NFT, you know, and people are like, no, you don't, because I can see it right there. Like it's not in your wallet. Like, so we'll get to wallets in a minute. Next slide, please. So this was the best graphic I could find that was the most simple of what blockchain actually, what a transaction looks like. How many of you have heard the term gas fees? Okay, so gas fees are the fees you're paying to use the energy, essentially. It's just, so a lot of NFT world is just dumb terms for stuff you already know how to do. So the glossary is going to come very handy. We're going to get into that, but it's mostly just things you already know how to do, and it just has a different name. So this is just what a transaction looks like. And what's happening here is an algorithm is working really, really fast and using a lot of energy to make this transaction happen. So it's adding a block to the blockchain. So say I bought an NFT, this is what happens. Next slide, please. How many of you recognize these guys? So this is called the Bored Ape Yacht Club. This is the reason NFTs have a bad image. This is what kind of happened. It was the gold rush of 2021, and these things started going for millions of dollars. And, you know, like Seth Green and Snoop Dogg and Sir Anthony Hopkins bought them, like a lot of celebrities buy them. And they're just, this is why people are like, oh, the art is so terrible, you know, and it's because of these guys. But what they give you is actually quite a lot. It's not just a picture of a monkey. You're actually getting an NFT that does stuff. And one of those things is intellectual property. So Snoop Dogg was able to take, let's say he owned this ape. He made an entire music video with an animated version of that ape. And then Seth Green made an entire animated series out of his ape. Like, you can't do that with normal art, like you would get sued. Don't know what Anthony Hopkins is doing with his, but I'm sure it's something great. He apparently is like a real, like he's addicted to buying NFTs. He has thousands apparently. Next slide. So this is what's called a PFP project, AKA a profile photo project. They could just say that, but they don't. So what you get out of these is all kinds of stuff. You can get in, club with merchandise. They do parties, giveaways. A lot of these projects have a charity component to them. So they raise a certain amount of money off royalties. They'll give to a charity. I think with Trippy Toads, you get merchandise. They have parties at Art Basel and at NFT NYC, and they all have like their own message board. So you're like joining a community essentially. It's like getting a baseball card that gets you stuff. Next slide. So this is World of Women, and this is a pretty rad NFT actually. I can't afford it. Not many people can at this point. If you got in early, you could, but the parties that they do are amazing. Like they had a secret show at Art Basel and it was Madonna. Or sorry, not Art Basel, it was NFT NYC, but it was Madonna. Like, that's pretty cool. Like you buy this NFT and you can go see secret shows with like amazing artists. Like, I don't know, that's pretty cool to me. We'll come back to this, but I just wanted to lay it out for you how simple it actually is to make an NFT. Just, get a high quality file, because one of the things that people do is print. If it's a static image, they'll print it. I have tons of NFT art that's printed in my home. I love it. And so depending how big you want people to be able to print stuff, get a very high quality file. You're going to set up a wallet. We'll get to that. You're going to add cryptocurrency. We'll get to that. You're going to choose where to sell it. So it's no different than, listing your art on ArtNet or Saatchi.com or something like that. So you can sell one image or you can sell multiple editions, just like you would sell prints. And then you just upload it. That's all minting is. It's just uploading a file. There's no magic to it. There's no like crazy coding. I mean, the last time I ever did coding was when MySpace was a thing. Ooh, I'm going to add this little photo here, like that's all it is. It's just uploading a file, but it's very slow, which adds to the suspense. And, it's like I said, we're in the time before Netscape. Things are a little janky. It'll get better. It'll get smoother, I think. I think a lot of people are going to get onboarded to Web3 in ways that they don't really like they don't know they're using it. It'll be like a sneaky thing. But Web3 does need more people, by the way. So please join us. Next one. So the glossary. I would just Google the most up-to-date glossary because it's silly. It's kind of gatekeepy, and I don't like that part of it. The other day I was having an issue and I messaged my friend and he goes, well, send me the Texan hash. I'm like, what? He's like, the Texan hash. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And it turns out he just meant transaction ID. I'm like, why don't you just say transaction ID? Jeez. So alpha is information or gossip. Gas fees, again, is the cost of the transaction to use that energy. And by the way, the whole like that, it uses more energy than whatever, and it's bad for the environment. That's not true anymore. We'll get into that. Floor price is the minimum price in an NFT collection. So if you have a collection of 6, 10, or 1,000 NFTs, floor price is like the lowest price one that you're selling. And HODL is hold on for dear life, which means that thing is probably going to be worth money soon. So like hold on to it for a while. Don't sell it just yet. It's like selling a stock. So these are my two favorite blockchains. Tezos, I would say, is the best thing for you to start with, especially if you don't want to go in with a lot of money. I would set aside $20 and you can do a bunch of things on Tezos. So Tezos is also, I would say, the more secure system, and it's very popular with the West African community, and just like some really great art on there. I have to get off there sometimes because I start buying stuff and then I have to like, whoa, cut it out. Ethereum is where all the bigger sales happen. And that's the largest ecosystem. So you should have maybe one collection on Ethereum. But in general, if we're just like testing things out, I would go with Tezos. It's the best. Okay, so wallets. This is, oh wait, no, we're not to wallets yet, but this is CoinGecko. So this is the site you go to when you want to find out how much the currency is in dollars, because I can never remember, and it's changing. It's changing like every hour. So this is kind of what the graph looks like, and you've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think Solana is on there. But there's literally hundreds of these coins. People ask, well, what about Bitcoin? Bitcoin has nothing to do with this. This is just, you know, that's like the granddaddy coin that everyone knows the name of, but we're not dealing with that at all. And then Ethereum is most used, like I said, along with Tezos and Solana, which is, I would say, the third most popular. Okay, so this is my MetaMask wallet. So you will need a wallet, and that's basically your home base, your bank account, your dashboard for all of this. And in the case of MetaMask, it is just, you know, a plugin on your web browser. And so it's got like buy, send, swap, activity, got my assets on there. And then that's my wallet address, the long version of it. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get an address that's like super long. And I would never retype it because you might send something to the wrong wallet. I would always copy and paste anything. Or what you can do is buy what's called an ENS domain. And I changed mine to vendettabella.eth because that's just easier than typing in or copy and pasting all these letters and numbers. But yeah, so that's MetaMask. That's the most popular wallet. And they have great education on their website. If you ever get stuck or don't know what you're doing, their articles are great. Next slide. This is the Kukai wallet, and this is what you will use for Tezos. So I just log in with my Google. I also have a seed phrase for that and the MetaMask wallet. By the way, don't ever share your seed phrase. I can't believe I'm saying that, but when I learned, no one told me. So if anyone asks for your seed phrase and they say they're from tech support, they're lying. They're not from tech support. But that probably won't happen on the Kukai wallet. And then you see you've got import wallet, create a new wallet, and connect ledger. This is a ledger. This is a more secure way of having a wallet. You have to actually plug it in to your computer. I don't have one. My husband wants to get one just because he thinks it looks cool. I'm down for that. And they cost like between $50 and $70. So that's like another added layer of security if you want. So this is the inside of my Kukai wallet. It's got my activity, my transactions, and then it's got all of my NFTs that I own. And so if I click on those, it just shows the image of what I bought. And that's the homepage of Object, which is the most popular marketplace for Tezos NFTs. And they refresh and have like a ticker going all the time of the newest uploads, the newest sales. It's really great, like just simple website, and that's why I like it. Okay, so speaking of marketplaces, this is known origin, and that's just that's what happens when I connect my MetaMask to a website, and then you just sign off on it. So you can kind of see it's got Vendetta Bella on there. This is my collection on known origin. It's just like a page and has my bio. It's no different than really like listing your work on any other like art site like Fine Art America or something like that. And then it just shows whatever these are in ETH right now. I would have to look at CoinGecko to see what the exact amount is, but yeah, so I've got 3 editions of this, and then those are all one-on-ones. And a one-on-one just means there's only one. It's only that one. So sometimes people will actually say, I'm a one-on-one artist. Again, study the glossary. It's got some funny terms. So yes, being a one-on-one artist. So these are all my favorite marketplaces. Known Origin and Calumet in particular, you do have to apply, but that's just so they can keep out the people who do the stick figures and think they're going to make bank. The rest of these are really, oh, and Super Rare, you do need to apply as well. But the best, Foundation, Mint, Gold Dust, they're great. Object is great. And I've been told to set your Tezos royalties at 15 to 20% or more. I was told that recently. All right. So this is, like I said, one of the main points of all of this is royalties. In addition to sale profits, on the flip side, a collector and investor in NFTs can earn profit from the purchasing early on and reselling as demand for the piece increases. I had this happen recently. I actually got a free NFT, and for whatever reason, it bumped up in price, and I was able to make $1,300. So that's cool. So smart contracts are what those transactions to the blockchain are called. And smart contracts are how royalties are getting doled out. But yeah, so imagine if you got in early buying an NFT paired with an album release and that album explodes later on. What if you were given an NFT at a free art show and that artist becomes the next Banksy? And you can earn royalty on that when you sell it. I had, let's see. I'm trying to think actually. Oh yeah, and I mean, like, for instance, you know, like if the Air Jordan, when it came out and they gave you a free NFT with that Air Jordan, and that was like the first release of it in Chicago, like that would be worth a lot now. So it's kind of, you know, there's a lot of events and like physical merchandise that can get tied into NFTs, and that's what's called in the glossary utility. I would just call it perks, but okay. And one of the perks actually with my work that bombed was I paired physical art with my NFT. I thought everyone would want that, and no, they didn't. Not only did no one know really who I was yet, but people are really weird about anonymity online, and they weren't going to give their address. So why would they be excited about that? And I didn't know that. So sometimes it can work, you know, because like those Bored Ape people, they get like the hoodies and stuff. And so they obviously give out their address then, but it's kind of a touchy subject, I'm feeling. So I would not pair it with anything physical. So these are all the people involved. So First Dibs, you can actually sell online, and they are taking applications. LACMA just got their largest art donation ever, and it was a guy's NFT collection. And it was like the largest in dollar amount, I guess, of any gift that they've ever received. Christie's is rocking pretty hard with the NFTs right now, so is Sotheby's. Starbucks has kind of been doing it for a while, as has the Gap. I don't get too excited about like digital hoodies and stuff like that, though. I don't know, the Gap thing's weird. I don't know, maybe you get a percentage off when you come to the store. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works, but Time Magazine has actually been really involved with the Web3 community because they want to pivot to like a Web3 media company. So speaking of artists, so this is Tristan Eaton. I've been following his work for years and years. And oh, and that's the other thing. I know a lot of these artists, you'll see the ones that have sold a lot, like Beeple. I think he sold his collection for like $46 million, excuse me, 46 million. But these guys, like, they have been around, like they didn't just come out of nowhere. Like I've been following Beeple on Instagram for a decade, and I've been following Tristan's work since maybe 1995. So I was very excited he was doing this collection, and what he does is quite interesting. He does what is called a burn season. So you can turn that NFT back into him and he will send you the physical version of it and signed. And this way he keeps control of his supply. And I was so happy with this. It looks great. And you know, I said that you can't delete anything. Technically that's true, but what you can do is burn an NFT. Again, go to the glossary because it's all just dumb. I don't know, they need to come up with better names. It's a mechanism where you send the NFT to an unmanned wallet. So it's like a ghost wallet out there in the ether, and outer darkness, as I call it. So you send the piece to outer darkness, and now it's gone forever because no one will ever be able to get into that wallet, and that's that. So that's a way of deleting. So if you're not happy with your collection, or if you're like, oh, this piece has been around for 6 months, I'm just going to get rid of it, you can burn it. So there is a way to delete, so to speak. And this is Tristan's project to raise money for Ukraine. I wish I could afford one of these. And this was based on a mural that he did. This guy just broke the record at, was it Christie's or Sotheby's? It was over the weekend. He broke the record with this project. I think the lowest price when I looked at it was $4,000. And to be honest, like, yeah, they're little pieces of paper like this, and he signs each one, but I didn't want to pay $4,000 for what I thought was just crappy art, to be honest. You know, yeah, it's a Damien Hirst, but then like there's all these other thousands of people who own practically the same Damien Hirst you do, except it's signed and it has a different title maybe. But you know, he's doing the same thing as Tristan Eaton. He's doing a burn where you turn the NFT back into him and then he sends you the physical piece of art. Yeah, you know, good for him. So these are the things that are quite popular in NFT land. You thought it was just images or animated GIFs. It is not. The photography scene, especially with the West African, like in Nigeria, like they're rocking it. Poetry on Tezos is actually very, very big. A lot of times people will like do a hidden utility where they record themselves reading the poem. Like once you buy it, you get that, or a video of them. Dark art is quite popular, and black and white works never go out of style, let's face it. But so AI is becoming popular right now. I don't know how long that's going to be because I can always tell AI from a mile away. But you know, it could change in a year from now. So this is the part where you actually have to do some work. Oh no, I don't like work. Let's see. This is where you have to make friends. You have to meet other artists. You have to talk to people. You can't just like start promoting your art and dropping it like buy my NFT, because no one knows who you are. Like no one, why should they care? A lot of people will spend, you know, 3 months just making nice with people and meeting other artists and maybe applying for some online shows. And Twitter Spaces are where everyone is at, especially Twitter Spaces. And it's kind of fun because it's like a radio call-in show, but it's a podcast, but there's like hundreds of people. Discord is where everyone's, especially profile photo projects, they all meet and discuss things. Diamond app is a decentralized social media platform, I would call it. It's still very new, but people are starting to migrate to that. Scams. Well, you know, it's great that we can have these NFTs and stuff for, you know, it's great for, you know, you can't have anything censored. You can donate to charity. You can buy work from people in Ukraine and Russia, which I've been doing, and believe me, they've appreciated it because they don't have PayPal. Their banks are frozen. Like they literally have no other way of getting money, and me buying their NFTs is like been some people's only income. So it's, got a lot of great things to it, but there are dirtbags everywhere and everything. And especially when it's this new, because this is the Wild West right now. That's why I said I'm not an expert and no one is. If anyone tells you they're an expert, they are lying, because no one knows everything about Web3. So anyone who claims to be an expert, that's a red flag. But always just, a lot of scams happen because you got lazy or you weren't paying attention, or, a lot of it is like kind of on the user. So just be sure to vet people. Always check the website URL before you connect your wallet. Make sure it's, so if you're going to Foundation or if you're going to Object, make sure it's the right site. Never reply to someone offering tech support or help in a DM, especially. If they send you an email and they want you to open a file, don't do it. And they get clever. I had an email from someone claiming to be from Foundation and that they wanted to do an interview with me on their blog. And it sounded pretty legit, but then they sent me an Excel file to see how their other interviews looked. And I'm like, why would that be in an Excel? What? Huh? And I didn't open it. And then they kept pestering me to open it. And I was like, oh, you're a horrible person. I told them, I'm like, you're a horrible person. And I also threw in that I was dying of cancer. Don't you feel like an asshole now? If I got it, I'm going to use it. Sorry. So always, if they send you a file or if you see strange tokens appear in your wallet, don't interact with them. Sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're airdropped, but make sure it's from someone you know. Yeah, if they want to send you a file, or if they say, oh, you would be great for this project, or oh, we want to do this new marketplace, can you help us? Ask to video chat with them, because 99% of the time they're going to run away and they're not going to contact you again because they don't want a video chat. Or they'll say, oh, I don't speak English. And I'm like, that's okay. I have Translate on right now. We can chat. And then they're gone. So just always be on the defense. Never share your private key. Never share your seed phrase, as it's called. And just make sure when you are done with everything, you unconnect your wallet from that site. All right, so we're back to, again, it's just choosing a file, getting that wallet, putting some Tezos or ETH in your wallet just for gas fees. So maybe put in $10 or something. Choose where you want to sell and then just upload it. That's all it is. There's no programming, there's no software hoo-ha, there's no nothing like that. It's great. I think that's it. Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit actually how I got into NFTs. I kind of forgot to do that. I was diagnosed with terminal cancer in 2020, and I was basically packing up my life. I was trying to figure out what paintings were where, what gallery had what, all that stuff. And I was contacted by a company to help them with doing a new marketplace, because I've done testing for a lot of tech companies in the past. And I remember being like, NFTs. I was like, do I have to do anything? And they were like, no, you just have to come up to the meetings and just tell us what you think. I'm like, good, because I don't want to have to do NFT crap. No. I didn't know much about it, but I just didn't want to be involved. But then I realized okay, I should probably learn how to do this if I'm going to be advising them. I should probably learn a little something. And I went so deep in, oh my God, and it just all made sense for my situation, because not only does it give my work provenance, but it can continue to earn money in royalties for my husband after I'm gone. So in a way, it's a way you can control your digital legacy, like your digital dossier that you've left behind. So it's like having a print, but it's in the space of ether, because you never know who's going to be interested in your work later on. And this is a completely new audience. So it's, you have to do the work, you have to make contacts. It's kind of like starting over, and that's no fun for anyone, but I think if you do more research on it and look at it as a way to control your digital legacy, I think maybe it'd be something you'd be interested in. So I guess we're going to do questions. Yeah. All right.
So you said that, well, you can't alter the images, but we all know that people alter the images, like even now, if you put something up, they do things. If they do that, does that take all the value out of that NFT? Is that why people don't alter it?
I'm not sure I understand, like,
So in the world of internet, people take all kinds of images of yourself. Or,
yeah, make memes out of them, you mean, and stuff like that.
and
Yeah.
They alter them. They go into Photoshop. they
Well,
alter it.
I mean, in that case, that's not the real NFT though.
So then that completely devalues.
It's a
the
completely
original.
different item. So I was kind of explaining this earlier to someone, like, what if they made copies of it? Well, those copies are their own digital stamp, their own provenance, but it's kind of like how in prints, it's the same image, but every print is unique. It's the same concept. So they can copy it, but it's not going to be the real one. Yes, in the back here.
So, say you have a physical, I'm a digital artist, so I have everything that I do is a digital file, but I produce a print from that digital file. Can I have a physical object that I could sell as a limited edition? And on top of that, have an NFT as a
Yep.
limited edition, and they're not
And they're not competing, no.
with each other? Okay.
Because all the stuff that I mean, all the stuff that you saw in my origin, those are all paintings. And one of those paintings is here actually. And the others are all sold. They're all in collections, but that doesn't mean I can't still get mine. You can get yours too.
So, I was asked by something to do with NFT, but I called the US Copyright Office to find out some of the things like, how do you categorize an NFT to copyright? And at that point, that was probably like 6 months ago, and they really don't know what to do with them. They classified them in photography, I think. I can't remember, but they didn't. They said we're kind of working on it, but they're very vague about.
They don't know. No one does. And that's the thing, like I said, the space is changing so fast. And if anyone says they're an expert, they're wrong. Because like literally no one knows what they're doing.
That was going to promote China and the United States. And so far, the stage it's in right now is they decided like the market got really flashed. And there wasn't going to be as much money spent. So they're building a collective of like international artists to do NFTs. And so I guess my question is, that's kind of like having an agent, correct? That's a similar thing where they would be an agent, I get a cut.
Yeah.
Right. How many people are doing that? I mean, I know people that are with Time Magazine, they are getting a cut from that. But I don't know what kind of relationship there is between, like you're a free entrepreneur in terms of you're a free agent.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have an agent because that kind of defeats the purpose of it all.
Yeah.
Is that
And
it's
you
supposed to be
wanted, like,
peer to
that
peer.
first right of refusal, that's the thing there. So
Yeah.
every time I do an NFT, I have to punch them.
Arabella,
Yeah.
just real quick, technical note. When they ask a question, if you'll repeat it, just like back a little,
Oh.
the mic will pick it up too.
Okay. Hello.
So they ask, what's an NFT? You say, so an NFT is.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
We're on Facebook Live also, and I guess we can't.
So how long? So you have to develop your kind of fan base in Web3. How long before you sold your first NFT? How long did you develop your fan base prior to selling your first NFT?
So I developed my fan base first in Web3 for about 3 months. I made a collection a little hastily, and that was, I've talked to other people who've done that too, where it's like, but it's like throwing something out into the void and expecting someone to notice. So yeah, I think it was about 3 months for me. I just tried to Twitter Spaces and getting involved in any open call for online shows. That was like kind of what did it for me. So in the mask here.
Yeah, it's really to other people
allowed to do with that digital file? Would I be competing with the owner of the NFT for like making prints or printing my image on shirts or whatever else?
So as far as competing with the person who bought it, I mean, you can do what you want. It's your intellectual property. But they can, I have it in a lot of my smart contracts that they get personal print rights. So, I mean, I can't control what people do, but it's, I give them that. And if they want to go and make 20 prints of it, they can,
I've been approached on Instagram by a guy who wants to, we've been going back and forth, he's a collector, he represents himself as a collector. I don't produce NFTs and he wants me to. So
Okay.
he wants to commission NFTs. Have you any experience with that?
I've not, but I mean, if he's commit,
I can speak to that because there's a lot of, I was scanned, someone tried to scam me on Instagram saying they wanted to pay
Oh.
buy 7 NFTs for $10,000 each.
oh, yeah, no. Red flag.
Ideally, that was a red flag. I noticed that he had friended a couple of other people on Instagram
Uh-huh.
that I knew, so I warned them that this was a scam because this guy said what he'll do is he'll set up a wallet for me and he'll buy my NFTs. And I said, well, the only way I'll do this is you'll do a Zoom call, and I never heard from him.
See what I mean? So he asked about someone wants to commission, I should look at the camera when I say someone wants to commission NFTs. I would say fine, as long as he's willing to pay. I mean, the gas fees on Tezos is a fraction of a penny. It really costs almost nothing. So you could say to him, give me $10 or $5 for the gas fee. But I mean, a lot of people have done that actually. I would go on Twitter maybe and ask if any artist has done that, because I know they have. I've seen people do it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you upload and you only want to have one copy available, then does that one copy just keep getting traded?
Yes.
Or does it become multiple?
The one copy stays one copy. Remember, one-on-one artist. They're just too fabulous. There's only one of them. So yeah, it's the same copy. It's like a living, the blockchain is like an unbreakable database, and the transaction and the token are like unbreakable as well, but they're all kind, it's like a ledger. It's like a living ledger.
So no matter how many times that is circulated, the royalties still come back to the original person.
Mm-hmm. So for instance, that free NFT that I got that I sold for 12 or 1,300, that artist got whatever percentage she said. So if she said 15%, she just got 15% of that, just automatically. Didn't have to do anything, didn't have to call anyone, didn't have to pester anyone, didn't have to send her husband after someone like I've had to, it's great. So he's cute, but he can get scary. Don't let him fool you. In the back here. Oh, that has nothing to do with NFTs, but if it was still functioning, we would have pivoted to a Web3 company by now, because I actually did ask a few artists to maybe get involved, and they didn't even get past making a wallet. They were like, oh, I can't do this, didn't even try. So if their attitude changes, fine, because I mean, for music, it cuts out Spotify, it cuts out all those people. So in the way back.
On one of your slides, you have Christie's and Sotheby's listed. So do they auction
Yes.
NFTs?
Yes, so Christie's and Sotheby's do auction NFTs, and they do very well at it. They're getting record-breaking numbers, and I believe, like the Damien Hirst record was broke this weekend, and they did the record-breaking NFT sale, which I think, was the 47 million. So at the computer here.
So in the archives a new artist, how does an NFT fit in with that?
If the archives archive a new artist, how would an NFT fit in that? I mean, you could have them make an NFT to pair with it. I mean, I don't see why not. Because then, the thing that, so for instance, if the artist archives had a crypto wallet, I could leave it in my will that when I die, the future percentage of sales of my NFTs go to them. So as far as, pairing an NFT with a real piece of work, like you could do that in a way for fundraising.
My little ears are out.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a lot you could do with that. And then it could also be like a new aspect to members perks.
Yeah, okay, that's another staff position. Anyone?
For instance, if I had a painting that I painted and I wanted to sell a JPEG of it, or I had a poem I wrote and I wanted to sell an image of it, I would still have all the normal rights to my painting that I like, and I still could use my poem however I like, but they would be buying that particular image. Is that correct?
Okay, that was really long for me to repeat, but basically she's asking if a poem or a painting that she did, have in perpetuity rights to it no matter what happens. And yes, like you get all the rights as anyone. Again, decentralization means that there's no central authority. No one's going to tell you you can't. And royalties, man, it's the whole name of the game.
So I'm a photographer, and I'm sitting on a couple of decades of high resolution JPEGs. Okay, some of them I think are pretty good. I get the feeling I may be sitting on a potential income stream here.
Yes.
If I do something with it, but it's not that simple. There's a lot of work involved, obviously.
Yes, so he's asking if he's got a whole stash of high resolution photos, and it sounds like something might sound like a collection. I say so. You already have the work, so really all you have to do now is like make nice with people in Web3, get yourself known a little bit. If I had more time, I would go into some marketing, but that's the other thing. People really have no idea what they're doing, and no one knows how to market this stuff. It's like, it's really down to luck and being in the right place at the right time. But still, yeah, like go on Twitter Spaces, join. If you go on Discord, join some photography groups, join any group. Yeah, and then you can make a collection as large as you want. Like you could make a collection of 200 items. And yeah, it's a nice passive income. Mindy.
So you mentioned before that, yes, people could buy the NFT from you and they could make 20 prints if they want. So when they go and sell those 20 prints, do you have it in your contract that you get a cut of that sale? Or that income that you would be missing if someone takes your NFT, copies it into a physical print and goes out and sells it?
Yes, so she's asking about if someone makes 20 copies and they go and sell those, do you have something in the smart contract where they have to give you a cut? And the answer is no. Unfortunately, that no one has done that, I don't think, but it's.
You have to watch the people in China. They're
Oh.
already.
That's true. Oh, but that happens to me still. Like I have stuff being sold on Amazon that I did not, like I don't make that product, that kind of stuff, and other prints too. But yeah, really there's nothing you can do about that. It's just, you're hoping people are going to be nice and play nice, but sometimes they don't. Yes, here.
What is the incentive for a person to buy an NFT?
Well, it's kind of like, does your photos in your photo roll mean anything to you? Like, would you get upset if I deleted all of your photos?
Yeah.
So it's down to the person. Like the things I buy, it's buying art, if it speaks to you, if you just really like the colors, maybe you just think the artist is on their upswing and you want to get in and make an investment. And PFP projects mostly are that. I would say PFP projects are more risky, and people are starting to realize that the art NFTs are actually where the good investments are. So yeah, it's just like buying any art. It's like buying video art, for instance. And I actually have installed in my house a Samsung flat screen that's part of my gallery wall, and it just has a loop of all the animated GIFs I've bought, and it's really fun. Like, it's just a new kind of art, really.
I can add to that. So one of the things you want to look at is the younger generation. Younger generations People just live on it. They
Mhm.
don't really care so much about art on the wall. Their life is in their phone.
So I do have,
Going to the beach or whether it's their piece of art, they want to brag about what's on their phone. What's hanging on the wall. They don't care.
I do have 3 galleries in the metaverse on spatial. And yeah, I've been to metaverse parties. I go there to hang out sometimes because like they make the environment so lovely. But I do have art galleries in there and people go to them. Like I can see on the counter how many people visit, and they're all like way younger people too. So it's a changing time. Like, you know, we never thought, again, in 56K modem days that we would be looking at a screen and kids would be like watching 30-second videos over and over and over on TikTok, you know, like we can't predict how it's going to go. But this is where it's at right now. And I think it's just important, if you're thinking about the future, like maybe get in now before it, you know, I used to think email was a fad. I did. So don't be 1994 me.
That's kind of a hard question to ask, but it being a Web 3.0 sort of posting is like a decentralized new web, but you showed sort of like the top 3, top 10, you know, sort of marketplaces or cryptos or, you know, how do you feel about those becoming sort of the new centralization of the decentralized web?
So people are kind of annoyed with certain marketplaces like OpenSea. OpenSea is kind of like the necessary evil. They're kind of like the Facebook of marketplaces, where it's like everyone hates them, but it's still the largest volume of trades. People are getting kind of tired of marketplaces being, you know, like they're trying to get rid of royalties now on one, and Mint Gold Dust are great. They're wonderful. I've had a great time with them, so I believe in them. But there is something called Manifold, which is your own smart contract. That's a little advanced for what you guys are like, but again, start with Tezos. But if you do get advanced, you can do something called Manifold, which is minting your very own smart contract, and it will automatically show up in all the marketplaces, but it cuts them out. It's only yours. So that's like a more advanced step to take.
And then just so you know, we have time for just a couple more questions, and then I'll ask one from online, and then we'll let you.
What if you're really tech averse? Is there a DIY person or company or something that you would trust other than your younger brother who you trust to do the tech work for you while you produce your art?
You know, there's a lot of projects that offer that as one of their perks is education, and education around Web3. I could list some of the projects for you, but really even just going to the MetaMask website, even the Tezos, it's called the Tezos Foundation. They're a great resource for education, and if you get stuck, like it'll walk you through. But in general, yeah, like you kind of need to find someone like me that just can speak street and like, you know, not speak tech at you. Cause yeah, again, I still get people speaking tech at me and like, I didn't know what the Texan hash was. I'm like feeling all stupid, like, oh man, I'm giving this talk and then I don't even know what this is. And then I was like, wait a minute, I know what that is. It just has a dumb name, you know? So really it's just, you can do more than you think. It's just that damn glossary. And it just, you know, like, I mean, how many of you thought minting was like a process with software maybe, or like more complicated than opening a file? Like,
I noticed that on like the pages that you have, the formats are always square, kind of like Instagram. And like my works are multiple formats. Some are don't fill up the whole screen, some are square, some are rectangular. Is there a format that's like a recommended format? Are they always shown as square images and cropped? They open the image, you see the whole image. I'm kind of a little confused about the formatting of these files.
oh, okay. So the formatting, it's whatever you want. It'll open to whatever. Some marketplaces will only show it as a square, so they'll show like a detail of it. But when you do open it up, yeah, you see the whole thing. And the same with any video or GIF.
Two final questions, and then we have some Facebook.
Now, how do collectors feel of the original artwork if you sell that for an NFT? Or do they want to buy the NFT because
Um,
then they can do anything they want with it?
actually, when I had the collection that came with the physical, but it wasn't the actual piece, I made like colored pencil drawings that went with it. Everyone wanted the colored pencil drawings. They didn't want the NFT, which I don't think they realize what they did there, but okay.
Hey, with, let's say you do a painting, you did it 10 years ago, that collector, you have to let them know that it's being put into an NFT?
No,
How do they feel about it?
I don't ask her, no, because it's my intellectual property. I can do what I want with it. And if they want to buy the NFT too, great, you know, then they get a digital asset of it. But no, I don't ask permission from anyone for any older work that's in a collection.
Final question?
So am I right in understanding that, for instance, I could take the same image and sell it as like 10 different NFTs?
You could, but I would sell them as in one transaction, so one contract and an addition of 10.
Even though it's the same image?
Yeah, it's like printmaking.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people like when I started actually back to like, how do you get started meeting people and stuff? I also made some very cheap drawings into NFTs where I did an edition of 130 and I sold them for $1 a piece. And so a ton of people, you know, I sold out of that. That sold out, but now I've got 100+ people who now will be notified anytime I upload a new work. So.
I got a final question for you from, we were Facebook live streaming because the future is now. And it is from Paula Blackman online. And is, how is a sculpture or three-dimensional artwork made into an NFT? Or would it just be an image of a sculpture?
So for a sculpture being an NFT, there's a lot of VR and augmented reality NFTs out there. So a lot of it, you do have to actually go into the metaverse to see it. If you look at it on your screen, yeah, it'll look 3D and it can be animated, but it's not going to be living there in front of you like it would if you go into the metaverse. So, yeah.
That's the next level. We all get like
Well,
3D augmented glasses.
so, hey, I got those glasses. I didn't want to wear them. I told my friend I'm never going to use this. And then I started using it. And oh my God, the amount of art galleries that you can do and you don't have to pay rent. I have like a fake tree and a pond in my gallery. It's got like skylights, and then I got another one with skylights, and it's like on a river. And like, I mean, it would be $20,000 a month in New York for that. You kidding? It's great. It's all mine. It's all my work. So I recommend the metaverse. I know it sounds stupid, but it's actually pretty fun.
Well, everyone, I want to give a big hand and to Arabella Proffer. There will be a recording on the website. Maybe he's going to make a few closing announcements, but also really important, if you want to support Arabella, follow her on Facebook, on Instagram, or maybe buy one of her NFTs. Please support her.
But just wanted to let you know that we are doing a series of programs on new tech, and the next one is going to be AI. And it will also deal with some of the issues that some of your questions that came up with today have to do with copyrights, really, and the rights of artists. And so that's going to be handled in the next program that we do with Al Cowger and.
That is April 22nd. It's going to be in person in the gallery right here. And it is 2 to 3 p.m. And it's also going to have Jamal Collins, who creates art and AI. So you could ask him questions, and then Al will bring up this sort of kind of theoretical intellectual property. Is it art? Yeah. So we'll get juicy with it. So do come.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. There's food. I know it's really crowded in here. We're going to start taking some of these chairs out so you can stand mingle a little bit. Please help yourself to some snacks on the way out. Thanks, everyone.